This week on Recoil TV, we'll be taking a first look at the new SIG Sauer Romeo 2 MRDS. Now, we first got eyes on this optic almost 2 years ago, but in the meantime, there's been a global pandemic and a humongous disruption in our logistical supply chain. So by the time you see this video, you'll probably be able to buy one yourself. This one is an engineering sample, but as far as we know, this is exactly what you'll be getting when you get one yourself. Now, you can see here that this is a sealed reflex design with a twist. The Romeo 2 is actually a hybrid design, so you can go from a sealed setup to a shielded setup to a standard open emitter setup, and I'll show you how to do that right now. I have this mounted on a standard SIG Sauer M17. The Romeo 2 will fit on any Pro Cut slide that they have. Also compatible with all sorts of Delta Point Pro mounts, but we can't guarantee, or rather they can't guarantee, that it'll fit all of the loophole Delta Point Pro mounts. But you're not talking about a new proprietary footprint. You have a 25,000 hour battery life with a toolless change side-mounted battery here. Speaking of tools, the Romeo 2 actually ships with its own little multi-tool. You have a tiny little Torx that is used to secure the shield on either side. You have a torque limiter here with a T10 Torx on here, which is a 28 inch-pounds, which is what you need to properly secure this to your slide. It's also printed on the sight itself, so you know your torque mount, and you have a regular flathead for your windage and your elevation. There are 15 brightness settings, 3 of which are NV. Other options here, standard built-in, you have a rear sight that is set up with a suppressor height front, which this one actually isn't. This is the standard, so you couldn't use these for this video, but any standard suppressor height front sight will work. There's also nice horizontal lines to catch your eye, and you could put a photoluminescent paint in the back if you want to make your own 3-dot sights. There's programmable auto off on this. If you don't like the auto off, you can switch it off so it never turns off. And with the 25,000 hour battery life and the ability to switch it without taking the sight on and off, that's pretty good. But if you want an auto off, you can program it in. There's also magnetic on and off, and here's the magnetic cover. If you put it over the top, it shuts down. Are you gonna be running around with a CCW with the magnetic hood on your gun? My guess is probably not, but you know who might? If you're carrying this on duty. Safariland, and I am sure other holster manufacturers, are actually making holsters with a magnet built in, so when your pistol is holstered, your optic is off and it turns on instantly when you pull it out. Now, is that really needed with a 25,000 hour battery life? You know what, I don't know, but any kind of battery life extension beyond that is fantastic. Why would I say no to it, right? So yeah, you won't be running around with your upper cover, but you might be running around with this in a holster. Now let me show you how to switch over from your sealed reflex to an open emitter type or shielded. With our little handy dandy tool here, there is a screw on either side of this optic, and we'll simply take it off here. Probably going to want to use a thread locker. I would probably use purple Loctite 222 on these really small fasteners. And so there's 1 and 2. Now this is not just a shield, there is a polycarbonate lens and O-ring here, and you'll see it when you hinge this off the top. Maybe, and it comes out right now. And this is actually the only part that I am even a little bit concerned about with wearing out. If you take this on and off all the time, you'll eventually wear out, this O-ring. Maybe, all right? It looks like a standard open emitter type right here. If you want to add a shield, you can, right here. And it does add a little bit to the height profile of it. Now, when you're in the sealed configuration with the polycarbonate lens, you actually have to mount this first because your mounting screws are inside, and you can see here it says 28 inch-pounds. Other controls are just right here on the side, your standard up-down buttons, and can be programmed in all sorts of ways with the auto-off, etc. You can get a 3 MOA or a 6 MOA. This one is a 3 MOA. All told, I think SIG Sauer did a really good job of blending an awful lot of features and modularity into one little sight that, from the surface looks like every other open emitter sight that we've seen. And we're excited to keep running this, put it through the paces, and can't wait to see what they come up with next.